Hello, this is Arthur Nix with EWKS, and this is a continuance of the series on the export to Word, Word proposal. And just before I get in more into this, I just want to kind of review a little bit. And of course, we're ready to export out a proposal. We go up here to summary. We've already covered the concise, the customize, and the Word version right here. And the Word version is the one that I think is kind of the sweet spot for a lot of people. It does allow you to, kind of develop a workflow that, and so your proposals can be, by different people, and you can have different configurations for different owners and our customers. And so it does give you a lot of flexibility, whereas the customize, which is also popular, I don't want to, over criticize it, but there's not a lot of customization there. So the Word really does have a lot of customization. Now, the shortcomings is the good part is you could do multiple proposals, and you could use the Mailmerge function, have the names there and everything, but it just puts them in the root directory of the estimate, and then you got to go find them, and then you got to convert them to a PDF, and then you got to email them. And if you think about it, let's say you're an asphalt contractor, and you do this monthly on the monthly state bid proposals, and you send out, you could send out, I don't know, 50 of these things, depending on how many proposals there are that in that letting, and that gets to be really onerous. So what do most people do? They say to all bidders, which in 2026 I really don't know if that's is that acceptable. I know that's what most people do. I'd like to have the name there. Who am I bidding to? I can always go back and say this is the one that I sent you, and so there's no question about it. So again, there's nothing wrong with the Word proposal. There's just, this is a really, really pretty significant weak point in it. So I went on a quest to say, okay, what's out there that will do this Mailmerge email for me? HCSS is not going to do it. I really don't blame them. They would have to do the same thing, go out and get a third party. So the third parties are out there, and I think I found a really good one. And so I think the solution is there. Even in the heavy bid web, I don't see them coming up with a solution there either. Again, hopefully you'll be able to do the same thing that you could do here, put it out to a third party, and then do the mail, emailing out of there. So the requirements are, I want to send out a bid form, a bid proposal to a person. It has to be a unique name, okay, address, company, not just to all bidders. The second thing is it has to produce a PDF. All right, automatically, I don't want to be going and doing file, and export PDF, and then it has to email it for me. And then the fourth thing it does is it has to keep it at least for a certain amount of period that I can always go back and retrieve it if I don't want to download it. Obviously, if I'm doing like 100 proposals a month, I'm just going to blast it out, and the ones that, hopefully I know pretty quick, the ones that are successful on, I'll download and put in the file. Okay, otherwise I'm just going to just let it expire and go on. So those are kind of the four things that I look for when I went out, looking for a third-party alternative. The solution I found was a company called Mailmergic, mailmergic.com. And this is a German company, but I wouldn't let that, don't let that prevent you from checking them out. They all the correspondence I did via text or email, excellent English, probably better than mine. So we have Mailmergic here. Let's just go into it here. And if you look here, they list all the different types of documents or things that you can merge with and email out. And of course, the one that we would be doing is the Word mail merge right here. So even though here they talked about from Excel to PDF, you do have the option to go with the Word mail merge. They have an offline app. I have not checked that out. You can try it for free. Kind of gives you also a diagram here what happens. So you're merging with a spreadsheet creating PDFs, but then you're also doing a one-click email out, and that's what I was looking for. Pricing is very reasonable. You have $39 a month, and I think you could also do a year. Let's do a yearly. Okay, this is the yearly right here. And you can, of course, the free, the $39 a month. This will probably satisfy most users right here, $39 a month. And then, of course, some information about them right here. So excellent company. The response time was phenomenal. So I would highly recommend checking this company out. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the Mailmergic and look at how we can do this. So when I get into my account, I would see all of my proposals here. I only have one right now, but I could start a new one and I would just see a list of all my proposals here. I can, put them in folders. I could change my view, and it tells me what version I'm on right now. And this is the one I'm going to demo right now. Now, before I get into that, I'm going to show what I'm using for a Excel template, because remember I'm going to have my company names in there. So let's bring that up. And you don't have to do it this way. This would be pretty cool though. So you would have a total list of all your people that you normally, send proposals out to. Okay. And you could make this pretty slick, because over here you could have, this is for this type of a project. And then over here you could have a filter so that only the ones for that type of project would pop up. So the reason I would have, you notice here that I can come in here and I can specify who I want, just with a down click. So it's pretty good, pretty slick, that just using regular old Excel, I can have a total list of companies here. And I assume you wouldn't have more than probably 50, just your regular month in, month out, whatever. It wouldn't be a gigantic amount. If it's a one-off, I'm probably not even going to use this. And then this is what I actually will use with the merging right here. It will just, and if you look, all it's doing is just a VLOOKUP, and from this total list right here. So pretty cool that I can do that. So let's go back to Mailmergic here. Here's this is the template that I've uploaded, and this is from HeavyBid. I go to next, and you can see up here the workflow right here: upload template, upload Excel, edit template, download and send emails. And here's my Excel right here. I could replace it. I could download the original. So it does store it within the system. All right, and then we get into the actual template that was exported from HeavyBid. Now, I've already attached these. This is one maybe negative thing I would say about this is I do have to click over here to each one of these fields and fill that in, but it takes like a minute. So really, and compared to everything else, this is minor. But there it is. This is off of the spreadsheet. So it's actually reading these fields off of my spreadsheet right there. Let's look at the settings down here. Let's go down here to the bottom. And you can see here my output options. And I want to make sure that I have a PDF output. I could do a Word output also, but I want a PDF. All right, I could validate it so I could actually see if there's errors. I can do a test email, and then also I could do a preview right here. So that's pretty much it. So it's really pretty simple. And here I am at Edit Template. Now I'm going to go to next, and it says right here I got generate documents. Oh, before I do that though, let me go back. So it's easy to go back right here, and I'm going to use template, go to next, and down here on the email I can put whatever. There's my subject, and there's so that's how I could fill that out each time. I did want to show that right there. So save and close. I go to next, and there it is right there. It's going to send it out. The file name is going to be the company name, and generate the documents. So now it's going to generate 4 documents. So that'll be the actual Mailmerge PDF. And it's pretty quick. I imagine if you had like 30 or 40, you might be a couple of minutes. There you go. It's done. I could download it. I like this here where it says labor cost saved. I could either download it or I just go ahead and review and send. All right. So here we have, you can see here, this is the recipients over here. There's the subject line. And I'm going to go ahead and send 4 emails. And it does give me, I can get a report saying, the status. You could see at the top, hard bounce, soft bounce, delivered, open, and they are all delivered. All right, and then I could right here export the CSV to, I guess it would export this right here, and that's it. Let's see, does it give me, yep, to each recipient right there. All right, and I can come down here and go ahead and exit, close the page, and I'm done. So anytime that I want to come back and look at the history, I would have each one, I'd have all these proposals right here, and then I could come here to view history. And then, of course, I've done this a number of times, that's why you see that, but I can get an email report right here, and there it is, delivered, right? And I think it also even has where it's open too. Yeah, even opened. I'm not sure why. I know I sent one out. I'm not sure why it would say it wasn't open, but I did receive it. So it's pretty cool that you can get this kind of report. You can always go back and review what you've sent out, and you can download the PDFs too. That will have the actual customer's name on the PDF. So it won't be just some mysterious PDF. The title will be the customer's name, and you can set that up. So anyway, very cool. The app, I think it's well worth the expense here in time savings, Mailmergic, and it does solve the issue that the Word version, proposal version has in Heavy Bid. And like I said, frankly, HCSS is not going to solve this for you. So this is a great way to solve the issue of doing that mail merge, putting them PDFs, and then emailing them right out in probably less than a couple of minutes. And then you get the report features too. So thanks a lot for watching this. Again, this is Arthur Nix with EWKS, and try out the free version of this and just see what you think about it, and send me your comments.